Hey guys, welcome back to Supposedly Fun. I'm Greg, and today I thought I would talk about some of the weirdest books that I have ever read. I think every reader eventually comes across a book that's just fully insane. So this video is dedicated to those books. And when I say the weirdest, I'm defining that as something that's a little too far outside my own experience, or maybe I really don't understand what the book is trying to say, or the author was just on an acid trip and nothing really matters anyway. So there you go. Let's do it. The weirdest books I have ever read. The first book I want to talk about is Vert by Jeff Noon. This is a 1993 cyberpunk novel that imagines a world where people tickle the back of their throats with feathers in order to enter verts, which are alternate realities or hallucinogenic states. The main character is named Scribble, and his sister Desdemona has gone missing, and he finds out that she used Curious Yellow, which is a very mysterious and very rare feather that is supposed to lead you to the ultimate metavert. So of course he goes on a quest to find Curious Yellow so he can find his sister. And if that plot doesn't tell you, this is a really trippy book. Maybe it's that I'm not into drug culture, or maybe I'm not into alternate realities, or maybe it's just that I am hopelessly not punk in any way, shape, or form. But I really couldn't get into this book. And honestly, this was recommended to me. If it hadn't been recommended to me, I would have just given a pass, because I hear that plot and my brain just goes, nope. But maybe I didn't get it. But this book is insane. Next is The Fermata by Nicholson Baker. This one is particularly weird because this was recommended to me by my boss when I worked at Borders. And that just makes it even more bizarre because this book is porn. It's a series of setups for porn fantasies. So it's an odd thing for your boss to recommend to you, especially since the way he phrased it was like, this is a really important book. You are going to love it. And then, of course, you wonder why. But anyway, so in this book, the main character is a dude named Arno Strine, and he has the ability to stop time. Does he do anything useful with this ability? No. Does he do anything diabolical with this ability? Well, yes, but not in a supervillain kind of way. He just a really creepy way. So basically, he stops time so he can see women naked or position people in scenarios that will allow him to pleasure himself. And of course, all of this is done without the consent of the people he's arranging or unclothing, which is just creepy. And then there's a novel within a novel, if I remember right, and the whole middle of the book is it drops all pretense and is just a porn fantasy. And but that's when I just put the book down, I DNF'd it, and had to go into work and talk to my boss. And he asked me if I liked the book, and I just said, sure. And we never spoke of it again. I think the thing that feels the most bizarre to me about the Fermata is that I don't feel like there's much of a point to any of this. It feels like shock value for the sake of shock value. And it just keeps building and building and getting bigger. And shock value is fine, but when there's a point to it, and I didn't feel like there was anything to it. I get the same from a couple of books by Chuck Palahniuk. I just really didn't see any purpose to this. Next is a book I actually like, and that's Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut. Now, I wanted to put a different Kurt Vonnegut book on this list, which would be Galapagos, because I feel like this is Vonnegut at his most fully bonkers. But the thing is, I was already a reader of Vonnegut by the time I read this book, so I was kind of prepared for the insanity, if that makes sense. But Breakfast of Champions was the first book of Vonnegut's that I ever read, so it surprised me a lot more. It was kind of astonishing to me. I had never read anything like it at that time. It is a wild satire about a car dealer in the Midwest who comes unhinged. Basically, he believes that the writing of a mostly unknown science fiction writer named Kilgore Trout, who is a staple of Vonnegut's, so he believes that Kilgore Trout's writing is either true or coming true. And since Kilgore Trout writes science fiction, that's weird. The story's told out of order. It's not chronological. The focus keeps shifting around. So it kind of feels like Kurt Vonnegut did a lot of cocaine and then sat at a typewriter for a while. But somehow it all comes together in the end, and it ends up being a very funny, wild ride that has a purpose, has a point, and means something. So I really enjoyed this book. I actually want to reread it at some point to see if it holds up, because I read this when I was 19 or 20 years old, and so I'm 36 now, so some time has passed, and I want to see if it holds up. But I remember really enjoying it. I have enjoyed a lot of Kurt Vonnegut's books since I read this. It prompted me to be a big fan. You can see them all on the shelf behind me. But there you go. That is Breakfast of Champions. Now let's talk about a book I actively hated. It's Valis by Philip K. Dick. Now, this book only exists because Philip K. Dick essentially lost his mind. And this book is his mad rambling about the hidden mysteries of the world as revealed to him by a giant pink laser. There's also something about a goldfish, if I remember correctly. The main character is a stand-in for Philip K. Dick. His name is Horselover Fat, and I didn't Google this to check, but I believe Philip means friend of horses in Greek, and Dick can mean either thick or fat in German. So, Philip K. Dick, Horselover Fat. The book is just fully insane. Fully insane. I read this for a college course, and when the professor asked us all what we thought the book was or wanted, she was trying to start a discussion about it, and everybody in the class literally became that shrug emoji. Nobody knew what to say. Nobody knew what to make of this. And I was not the only person who actively hated it. It was just insane. And now let's go back to a book I like. It's Fever Dream by Samanta Schweblin. I love Fever Dream. I'm actually reading Samanta Schweblin's newly translated book of short stories, Mouthful of Birds. I just have the dust jacket here. The book is in the other room. I am almost done with this. It'll be in my reading wrap-up for February. So, I love Fever Dream, but I'm damned if I can tell you what's happening in it. It's just so compelling that it haunts you, even if you don't really know or can't figure it out. So it's about a woman named Amanda who is in a hospital and dying. And there is a mysterious boy in her room. He is not her son, but he wants her to tell him her story. And he keeps escalating and pushing her to tell the story. It's really creepy, and it's about family and the powerful love a parent has for their child. It's just really creepy. It's weird, but it's not weird in the way of the other books on this list. I'm including it really just because I can't figure out what's happening. I just don't know. I really like it. I think it has a purpose to it and a point. And I actually like trying to figure it out. So that is Fever Dream by Samanta Schweblin. And let's end this with a book that I also fully hated. It's The Flounder by Gunter Grass. I read this book in the same college course that foisted Valis upon me. And all of the other books were really good, but the two books that I didn't like, I just could not deal with. So this is The Flounder. Now you can tell me that this book is a profound examination of gender politics, deftly woven into a farcical story about German history that uses food politics as a metaphor. But I say this is an unnecessarily abstruse novel about one man's obsession with potatoes. Okay, if you're really interested in the plot, it's about a fisherman in the Stone Age who finds an immortal fish who can talk in the banks of a river on what would much later become the city of Danzig. The fisherman is also immortal, and he and the fish watch the passage of time in the formation of Germany around them as the book goes on and on and on. I used to really want to read The Tin Drum very badly, but when I read this, it got so backburnered on my TBR that I don't even own a copy of it anymore. Someday I do want to read The Tin Drum, but this scared me off of Gunter Grass for a long time, and I don't know if I'll ever get back. It's a really bizarre, frustrating book. And there you have it. We're done. Those are the weirdest books that I have ever read. If you want to tell me what the weirdest book you ever read, please leave me a comment down below. I will be back, and until then, happy reading. And again, thank you for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing or watching some more videos. Thank you.